Hey everybody, Brian from Bear Bull Traders here. It is Sunday, November 15th, and this is a weekly recap. Take a look at the week that was and look ahead and see what we got looks like coming down the pipe here. So let's start off with that. On that note, we've got a lot of interesting companies reporting this week. Right at the open on Monday, we've got JD, Palo Alto, Tyson Foods. That'll be kind of interesting. We've got a lot of retailers this week. We've got Walmart, Home Depot, Target, Lowe's, TJ Maxx, Macy's, Buckle. So a lot of retailers, some big ones this week. Got another interesting one, Neo, reporting Tuesday after the close. Neo has been just the day trader's dream here, and so it'll be interesting to see what happens to this stock when they report at the end of trading day on Tuesday. Billy, and then of course Nvidia's been a very strong stock this year, semiconductors, and yeah, so it's going to be a very interesting week. Ross Stores, of course, another retailer. So let's go through the indexes. Right now, as we speak, the futures are up. I think the Dow's up about just under 200 points here. So we'll see if that can hold till the morning, but looks like we're going to have a continuation move from Friday. You can see here the transports, nice move on Friday. RSI turning back up here. The only thing you're going to say a lot, you're going to hear me say a lot, is the volume wasn't great Friday. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly probably kind of looking not as quite as bullish. Bit of an indecision candle for the week. Again, RSI is trending up, but we did finish out the week on increasing volume. So on a week basis, Friday was down, but weekly volume was up quite a bit here. And not looking the stochastics are not looking great on this, but I think we are going to trend higher. So the Dow, again, Friday, lower volume, up, nice day. Pretty close to all-time high, if not at all-time high. The weekly, you can see here we actually tried to get continuation move higher, but failed. So we ended up with an indecision candle on the week. Again, volume a little bit higher than normal, but RSI, there are the stochastics still staying above the 50 here, although they are starting to trend down. The Qs not quite as good a week as some of the other indexes. Again, technology has been lagging a little bit here lately. Nowhere near previous highs. And again, tried to punch through previous high, failed on that, and pulled back on sort of average volume. Again, the Q's kind of stuttering here around the 60 level on stochastics. So it looks like we're getting into a bit of an ascending triangle on the stochastics, ascending triangle on the RSI. So we may just have trouble getting through this and holding through this 300. The SPY, again, strong day Friday, RSI turning up, volume light on Friday. See on the weekly, again, not really just an indecision candle, more of a reversing candle here. So we opened up the week pretty close to the high, all-time high as well, and pulled back significantly. Did retest the breakout point, but well off the low. So again, a bit of an indecision candle there, but definitely not strongly bullish. Could be putting in a double bottom on stochastics. And the IWM had a really strong day Monday. This was the big gap up day from when we got the virus news from not virus, but the vaccination news from Pfizer. Big gap up, big sell off. Didn't close this gap. We did try to retest it here, didn't get down into retesting it fully, and then we bounced back up. So again, this is your economy reopening play. It's going to be where you're going to see the biggest gains if when the virus, the vaccination stuff comes available and economy starts to reopen. But that's still a long ways off, unfortunately. Again, breakout on the IWM small caps. We did retest that breakout and then bounced off it. So still, it actually in the volume was pretty good. So I think IWM still looking pretty good here. On the 10-year, we did pull back. We are in an established uptrend on this yield, which is an indication that the economy is getting better. And you can see here we're kind of following the moving averages. They're trending up. So we did almost get to 1% on the 10-year yield, pulled back significantly here. So we'll see what happens. And again, the 10-year gapped up and then pulled back here. So 0.97, 0.98 was the high on the yield, but significant pullback from the gap up. Stochastics rolling over. We may pull back here on this. The dollar still, bounced right off this prior low here. And you can see we did a pretty significant bounce, came back up, and now we're pulling back again. I think the dollar is going to stay weak. Means emerging markets are going to continue to be strong. Stochastics, when they're below 50, valleys tend to fade, and this one looks like it's going to fade. So I think the dollar goes lower, and see, even despite that, gold did not perform very well. At least the miners didn't. So we'll have to see how that gold and silver play out, but emerging markets broke out. So let's go over some stocks I'm watching this week. I'm looking still at this BNR. It did pull back. We did get a double bottom. I know I love to trade off these double bottoms, so I'll be looking at this on Monday to see if we can get a little bit of a pullback here, maybe down around 28. Then we can use 27 as a stop, and maybe get back up to prior day high 30, maybe into the 31s. Trend is still on the upside. RSI's heading above 50. Stochastics look like they've put in a bit of a double bottom there, so that one looks interesting. Mentioned earlier that emerging markets are probably, if the dollar continues to weaken, emerging markets should be good. So BRZU, this is Brazil trades. You have to just be careful because it is a double ETF, so it does tend to gap and also does move a lot. So it could be the beneficiary of lower U.S. dollar. Looking at this camping world, it's had a lot of insider buying. It's pulled significantly off this sell-off here. And I think they were thinking about, I think there's some rumor about them doing something with Ride, which is a EV company. So looking at that, but I'm looking at this one here. It seems to have bounced back up. The only question is how you get a good entry on this at this point. 26.50 might be a decent entry on a pullback here. EEM, again, this is one way to again play the emerging market weak dollar. If we do get that, emerging markets look like they're in the verge of breaking out here. Gold's, even though gold, the actual metals went up pretty well, the GDX, which is the miners, didn't actually perform that well on Friday. Sorry, I stand corrected here. They actually, even though the dollar was off a bit and gold did pull back, so gold did the same thing basically. So would have expected, or I would have, given I've got a bit of a position here now, I would have hoped for a little bit better of a candle here on Friday. But we do have this, looks like it's starting to pop up a bit here. So just going to keep my position. Hopefully this is the start of a continuation trend higher. If not, I'll have to bail on it. Right, this is the Lordstown Motors, the one that had some kind of news release with Camping World. So you can see here we're in an established downtrend on Lordstown, or drew this line in here, but you can see here we're starting to break above it. So I would look for possibly maybe a little bit of a pullback, and hopefully we'll continue to trend higher on Ride as well, and then can use this sort of 1670 level as an area to stop out when moves against us. And you can see here RSI is coming up, the stochastics are turning up, so this one actually looks fairly positive. We'd had a cross on the MACD. Liking the look of this for next week. Here's a couple of small ones I was looking at. This one, PPSI, interesting. It's a lower float stock, but you can see here we've got a decent area to trade against, 250. Looks like it's been putting in a bottoming pattern and heading back up again. RSI looks good. You can see the volume here is pretty light again, so we just have to be careful with this. And stochastics turning up here nicely. It's a nice looking chart. Maybe we'll get a nice pop again because this thing can really move. Silver, again, same sort of comments as gold, gapped up, pulled back, right at a moving average, so hopefully get a continuation on Monday, but you can see here volume very light on silver as well. Square, I'm not sure why I've still got this in here. Sort of an ascending triangle pattern here. Not ascending, just a pennant, I should say. So you've got the top trend line, bottom trend line, so it's looking like it's going to break one way or another. Yeah, I would say we just have to keep an eye on that. Taco, again, I flagged this a little while ago. A lot of insider buying. It looks like it could head higher. A little bit concerned about trading some of these stocks with the, talk about all the lockdowns getting reinstated with the rising, especially with the rising hospitalizations that are happening. It's not just the number of cases, but I guess people are going to get concerned about overwhelming the hospitals and having to turn people away. If they start shutting down restaurants and stuff again, this isn't going to be good for a trade like Taco. So again, this is kind of a weird trade. USO, the dollar or the oil fund, was down on Thursday, Friday, and yet XLE, the ETF that trades in the oil companies, was up. So I'm going to figure that one out. Vietnam, again, another emerging market, breaking out here, breaking above the 200-day moving average. You can see here we came up, tested it a whole bunch of times, and now it looks like we're breaking out on Vietnam as well. So another ETF to, if you want to consider something longer term, that looks like a nice play. A couple other stocks quickly I'm watching here. Bloom Energy looking really good here. It's been strong, had a V reversal, pretty difficult to take that. Did get a pullback there, but again, stochastics just powering higher. RSI looking good, not overbought yet. Look for continuation move on BE. Again, GDX, the gold ETF. I already talked about that. NEO will be interesting, like I said. Reporting on Tuesday after the bell, and had a pretty big pullback day after this, huge run up here. So this was overdue, and on massive volume. I was actually comparing that to JKS. Let's see here quickly. You can see here again, massive move up, even stronger than NEO. And then we had this big volume bar sell-off day, so maybe we're just going to do some more selling at NEO on Monday, and then sort of bouncing back, and then just sort of maybe we're going to chop. It'll be interesting to see who wants to hold on into the earnings report here. Nikola looks like it's breaking out here. You can kind of see we've been putting in a bit of a bottoming pattern. So here's your bottom here. Here's another test of that bottom. Here's a third test of that bottom. And now we're breaking out, and we've broken out through these moving averages. So this one moving average. So I would watch Nikola. You kind of see we did it in a bit of rising volume here. Stochastics are turning up. So this is a nice looking chart, Nikola. So be looking maybe on Monday to put some of that in the portfolio. And space, I think we've actually had a launch on space this evening. Yeah, so SpaceX did have a launch here, a successful launch from what I understand, and this the Virgin Galactic space looks like it's going higher as well. So Stochastic's getting a little bit overbought here. Hard to chase it up here because we've got a bunch of prior levels of resistance, 23. So any kind of purchase of this would have to be on a pullback. Okay, everyone, sorry about the length of the video. I like to try to keep it under 12 minutes. Went a little bit over here, but I did have a lot of stocks that looked kind of interesting for trades. I wanted to go over them. Again, this is my book on Amazon, How to Swing Trade, if you haven't checked it out. So, and of course, as always, we will be in the room, 8:30 a.m. Norm and Carlos kicking off the pre-market show, Bearable Traders, and then we'll be trading the market open at 9:30. Hope to see you there, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, what's left of it, everybody. Bye for now.